she is referred to by her sister as dynamic and a firecracker. She toured with choirs in Europe as a teen and had a degree in music education from Westminster Choir College. She is very special, unique, and different. She is known by her friends to carry around a rubber chicken purse. This is according to her high school friend Gerardi. So, Lauren Cho, 30 years old. She was 5 feet 4 inches and 110 pounds. She was last seen dressed in a yellow tee and jeans with Doc Martens. She has black hair and brown eyes. Lauren Cho was reported missing June 28, 2021. The police were called at about 5:15, but she was last seen around 3 p.m. on Hoopa Road and Benmar Trail between Morongo Valley and Yucca Valley. They were living 2 hours from LA, about 12 miles away from Joshua Tree National Park. And she was reported missing by her then boyfriend, or he claims ex. Like they had just broken up or something. But yeah, he called at around 5:13 p.m. And he told police that when he was in the tour bus, she had become upset and left on foot, walking it off, supposedly, in 110-degree weather. So, according to Mara, I think, is it Mara? Maria, I'm sorry, Rodriguez with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, she basically walked away with just the clothes she had on. No cell phone, no money, no personal items, nothing. So, Lauren and Cody Morrill made the move to California from New Jersey, where Elle was born and raised. She lived in Hunterdon County and attended and graduated from Hunterdon Central Regional High School in '09. Prior to attending Westminster Choir College. So they moved, Cody and Lauren, in 2020, and they traveled across the country together in his van. They made their way to Bombay Beach. Joe was staying at the residence in the 8600 block of Benmar Trail in Yucca Valley. This is where Joe had been working as a chef for an Airbnb and dreamed of starting her own food truck. She had even begun converting an old school bus for this purpose. Prior to California, she had worked as a music teacher and a tattoo artist's apprentice at a shop in Flemington. Lauren Cho and her boyfriend were reportedly staying in a friend's house at the time, living in what is described as a compound for aspiring artists. Some articles I read described it as a ghost town turned artist commune, which was on the edge of California inland Salton Sea. The owner of the Airbnb describes it, according to News Nation, as adults only and clothing optional. But I don't know. I only read that in like 1 or 2 spots, so take it with a grain of salt. The listing for this commune describes it as an open and liberal environment made up of vintage trailers. I would also point out that her lifestyle choices have nothing to do with going missing, have nothing to do with whether she was murdered, and it's not appropriate for anyone to disparage her character. And I feel like people make comments about like things like clothing optional as a way to disparage the missing person, and it makes me a little bit angry because that has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Friends claimed Joe had been upset and presumably walked away, but left all her personal belongings behind. So they weren't, I don't know if any of them were there other than Cody, so it makes me wonder if they are just belongings and even her parakeet. Why the fuck would she leave her bird behind? Like, that doesn't make any sense. People who knew her said she would never have left the bird behind. Pork chop was the bird's name. Her remains ended up being found near her last known location, which I will get into that more in a bit. After she did not come back, Cody says he began looking for her. Dude, why would you not call the police first things first? Part of me wonders if he did it on purpose, maybe covering up tracks with his own or something, because they have no tracks of hers. And that just doesn't make any sense either, unless she never left the compound. So these are all things we just don't really know at this point. So the friends helped as well. I believe there were at least 3 friends that were helping. So according to CNN, Lauren's friend Jeff Frost commented on her disappearance when he said, "We have gone thousands of miles and tirelessly went to gas stations and pasted up flyers in the high desert." He said they also went to San Diego, thinking maybe she went to the beach, since prior to vanishing, she had mentioned in passing at some point that she wanted to go to the beach. Cody claims they searched throughout the hills and could not find any tracks of hers. Cody told police that she vanished from the Benmar Trail, and they were unable to find any trace of her. No tracks of Lauren's were found by police either. Only the tracks of her boyfriend and their friends. Like I said, that's a little suspicious. Cody still claims that she walked between Yucca and Morongo valleys, despite the fact that they have no evidence to prove it. According to RJ, which is another person there, Lauren had been working on her food truck conversion, which the day that she went missing, and he even had asked him to help her with it. He also said about her relationship with her parakeet pork chop, and this is his quote, "She would be worried if she was going to be away from him for a day." So that's another thing that's worrying me. Was one of the 3 friends who showed up to help in the search for Lauren the day that she went missing, saying that when she went missing that they immediately dropped everything and were out there all night. They were driving around 24 hours in the hills, but saw no signs of her. He says that the night this occurred, Lauren had been trying to leave with her car, but did not have the keys, speculating she was dating again and maybe was supposed to meet someone. Again, there's still would have been tracks if she'd walked out to meet somebody to pick her up. Like, think about it. According to someone mentioned seeing someone that matched Lauren's description in 1,000 Palms. And police also received calls claiming she was spotted with a man in a restaurant in Yucca Valley. But I didn't find that much on that, so that's that. 33 days following her disappearance, authorities obtained a search warrant for the resort. Though no conclusive evidence was mentioned, police kept saying that they believe she hitchhiked or grabbed a ride. However, with no water, no phone, and no tracks, this doesn't seem very likely in my humble opinion. I'm just saying. By July, police authorities utilized drones and dispatched canines in an effort to find Lauren. On July 24th, the Sheriff's Department fixed wingcraft conducted aerial searches of the remote mountain terrain near the scene. And this is according to the San Bernardino County's Police and Sheriff's Department. The following week, several canines searched the last known location where Joe was seen and surrounding unincorporated areas for evidence. Even with her phone, computer, and car, it was all for nothing, really. They found nothing. During all the searches, no remains or traces of her were uncovered by the authorities, and they found no evidence to conclude that she'd even left the compound itself. And yet they still think there's no foul play, and they still don't think that she was murdered, according to what I've read so far. Anyways, they haven't really gone and done everything that they could. We'll get back to where I was in my script. Personally, though, I think that she was killed. Maybe her body was stashed and then planted where they found it. do you not leave tracks? So, a Brooklyn couple was contacted by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. This is back in May of 2021. Lauren was working as a chef for a couple on their honeymoon, bringing the newlywed couple a special meal that was like $206, which had been suggested to them by the host of the compound. And the new bride said everything was vegetarian. It was all super fresh. I remember we ate every bite. And says that she seemed to be in great spirits. However, on the day before, when they saw Lauren in the pool with her boyfriend, they said this was a different experience for them. They got a different impression of her. According to the husband, I could tell that Elle was feeling a little uncomfortable. Dude, you don't know her. Call her Lauren. That's my opinion. The woman said that aside from introducing her as his partner, that Cody basically ignored her to socialize with other people. A month after returning home, the couple learned about her disappearance, and they described the area Joe lived in as being desolate, but with a good amount of houses. That sounds contradictory. Just saying. The husband shared his opinion that things don't make sense, basically saying, there's something not said that needs to be dug up. I agree, bro. Joe's parents have reached out to Korean news and churches along the West Coast to try and expand searches for Lauren, but unfortunately on Saturday, October 9th of 2021, Lauren Cho's remains were found. Her remains were discovered in an area of rugged terrain out in the open desert of Yucca Valley. Yucca Valley is roughly 30 miles north of Palm Springs and 12 miles from Joshua Tree National Park. Aside from confirming it is her, nothing else has been said about the case since then. No autopsy or cause of death anywhere. Since October 9th, it has been months, and Lauren Cho's toxicology is yet to be publicly mentioned. The police have repeatedly said they do not suspect any type of foul play involved. No foul play, my ass. Last thing I heard, according to sources obtained, is that the cause of death has to be determined after toxicology. It is the end of March, dude. March of 2022. And she died October 2021. This seems a little bit weird. How do you not reveal that information? Why wouldn't you? So, I don't know, man. There's a lot we don't know. Also, many people wonder why her case is being handled by Sheriff's Department as opposed to standard FBI or a regular police station like the Yucca Valley Police. This is about friends and family regarding Joe. So our college friend, Caitlin Borden, talks about her friendship with Joe when she says, one of our favorite things to do is find little gifts for people. Borden said, silly, small things that will make them smile. Girl after my own heart. They had stayed in contact regularly until the end of June, and they would send each other memes all the time and chat weekly on the phone. According to Caitlin, she had asked me to go visit her out on this Airbnb compound, and I said, I'm a little bit scared about going to the desert in the middle of summer. I'm very pale. And she kind of laughed about it. And so from the family's Facebook page, dedicated to Joe, you'll see on there that her sister, if it's still up, her sister honored Lauren in a post and thanked all those who were involved in the extensive searches over the months that they took place. This is a direct quote from her sister. I have been the luckiest to have had 30 years of the best company. Her sister, who only identified herself as HJ, wrote, my family extends their thanks to all those who waited with us, stood with us, cried with us, and hoped with us these past several months. And then I want to give you this quote, and then we'll go into some theories. This is again from her sister. The depths of our collective sorrow feels endless as grief demands space for its accompanying emptiness. That's poetic as fuck, and makes my heart break for her sister. Anyways, if you have any information, maybe something you didn't realize before, So take it all with a grain of salt. I don't think all of it is based on any fact, okay? It's just people and their ideas. So I read some stuff according to News Nation, which I didn't like, which is why I didn't count it with the other information. I put it down here for the theories because I don't like the things people said. It makes me mad. I don't agree with anything they say. So the housekeeper for the Airbnb compound that she lived in gave her own opinion when she shared her skepticism that foul play was in any way involved on the Airbnb property. I think that anybody working somewhere like that is likely to have this type of opinion, if only to save face, right? Because heaven forbid she work in a place linked to that type of thing. And throughout the interview, when I listened to it and watched it, she seemed to come off as like really self-righteous to me and disdainful of hippies. Like she was saying positive things, but her like demeanor to me indicated that she didn't like them. And to that I say, don't work at a place where you don't like people. Just saying. Though she tries to seem cool about their lifestyle and so on, that wasn't the impression I got personally from the interview footage. So this is a quote from this housekeeper that I just mentioned. Her last name is Cloud. People show up from different countries. People show up, whoever they are. They just get along. So Tracy Cloud, who has worked as a housekeeper at the compound for nearly 5 years, said, "Nothing violent. No. Never, never, never." Cloud also claims to have seen Cho that morning the day she went missing, prior to going to leave for work. Also, Tracy Cloud, just because there's never been violence doesn't mean something can't happen. Never say never. Just saying. Crime happens everywhere. People die all the time. It could even just be an accident, okay? Anyways, Cloud claims that evidently they had started drinking in the daytime, early in the day or whatever, and she had drank too much. When she wanted to leave, her boyfriend wouldn't let her take the vehicle, and evidently that's when she got upset. I would also say that that may not have been the reason that he wouldn't let her take the vehicle. It could have been because he's a toxic partner in the relationship. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, he's the last person to have seen her, and they were fighting. That doesn't look good for Cody. But I don't know any more about that, based in fact, so it's hard to tell. He's not really talking anymore, which again is suspicious to me. Alright, and also I would say this does not explain what happened. If anything, the way she's talking about them sounds like she's minimizing the importance of Cho's state that she's gone missing and kind of blaming her for whatever happened to her, which we don't even know because none of it makes any sense. So, I don't know. I also read somewhere, I believe on Reddit, that Cody Oral was abusive with a previous partner, but I couldn't find anything on it. I think it got taken down or something. And many suspect him given the fact he was the last person to see her. Also, many compare this case to Gabby Petito, claiming similarities, although Cho's family completely dismisses this idea and says it is in no way similar to her case. So I've got a bunch of Reddit commentary on the case. Again, most of this is speculation for people and not necessarily based in fact, but I'll still share it because it's interesting. Some people are saying that the whole not finding any tracks makes no sense. They said that they've been to Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree a lot. There should be tracks. There were no vultures circling a dead body. No tracks. She walked for only 5-10 minutes and then just died in that spot. Pills don't kill you instantly. The desert heat and wind didn't cause any smells to travel. This is true. That's a good point. The dogs never picked up on a scent that was so close by, they didn't. It is really suspicious. They can detect a smell from 1/4 a mile away to the edge of the property. They would have 100% been able to smell something 2 minutes away. Let's see, I agree with some of this. The aerial view didn't show any hints. When it's a wide open desert, she was in bright yellow. The neighbors never poked around to their own property, especially after hearing someone was missing. The police didn't excuse warrants for those same surrounding properties months ago. Execute is what they meant, sorry. A 5-minute walk is about 1,300 feet. The odds of her being so close for so long and never being found until now sounds practically impossible. Some of this I highly agree with. Or why not go to the neighbors and ask for permission to look? And where's her ex-boyfriend after all this information comes out? You know, it's disturbing. Also, the day drinking narrative didn't exist until Lauren's New Jersey friends started making noise about how Cody took her keys away, which was not mentioned by any of the California men. Then the owner's housekeeper all of a sudden insists that Lauren was drunk. I agree with this, which has been contradicted by multiple sources. However, no one has denied that Cody took Lauren's keys. I agree, which is why people compare this to Gabby Petito, because that kind of behavior was exhibited with her partner, how he treated her. But it doesn't mean it's the same. I think everyone's different, you know? So, it's also been stated that her car was packed and someone took her keys, which is true. They did state that. So, people also went on to discuss that the guy mentioned RJOK has stated multiple times that she's not a big drinker. So, the likelihood that it was because she was drunk is just not high. It's likely it was because of a fight, right? People also said that RJ and his female friend witnessed fighting between them, and that it's not suicide, which is something people have said a lot, is, oh, she committed suicide. Look, that's fucking bullshit. If she committed suicide, they would have found the body much faster. Like, and if it was suicide, they probably would have come forward with the results of the toxicology and everything by now, and stated that it was a result of suicide.